Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over a story titled, Confronted My Wife on New Year's morning. She confirmed she was having an affair. I'm devastated. Now guys, I chose this story because this is the classic situation where a married guy, thinks everything in his marriage is going great. Everything's cool. He and the wife, he sees them as best friends, soulmates, you name it. And they look at other couples and just like, oh, we're not like them, the bad ones, or the ones that the marriages fail and all that. And lo and behold, after a while, he starts to notice some unusual behavior on her part. Behavior that I've talked about in other videos, I've brought up in other stories, similar behavior, and lo and behold, she's having an affair. And so, again, I did this video today and videos like it so that for you guys that are married or in relationships, if you ever start to notice some of these patterns, some of these things that I talk about in the stories, you want to pay attention to that just to protect yourself, because it's a possibility. I'm not saying guarantee, but it's definitely a possibility, because you got to keep your eyes open and not be naive and blind that something could be going on. And again, guys, like I said, you'll see in the title, this is a situation where eventually he catches her. He confronts her on it, and the second obviously she comes clean about it, she then of course is so sorry, wants to end the whole thing and do anything possible to make the marriage work, when it's like, why didn't you do that in the beginning? Why don't we talk things over in the beginning, try to work on ourselves, maybe get help? Who the hell knows? Anything but having an affair and just, crushing this guy who's obviously doing what he, in his mind, heart believes is right to make things work. So the starts off, well, what a wreck I am. I'm hoping that I can find a future somewhere here. My wife and I have been married for 11 and a half years and together for over 13. We have 2 kids together, a daughter 9 and a son 7. I always felt that our marriage was different than all the ones around us that we saw falling apart. We are best friends, soulmates, until death do we part. See what I'm talking about here? He thinks everything's cool. I was wrong. My perception of things were different than hers, apparently. Well, this happens to a lot of guys. A lot of guys think everything is cool in their marriage or relationship, whatever it happens to be. Meanwhile, the woman is unhappy as can be. And to be fair here, I will say this. A lot of women do give off signs that they're not happy before any kind of activity, affairs go on. I'm not justifying their actions. I'm just saying a lot of times there are clear-cut signs, so you got to look out for, guys, okay? But just for those of you that do relationships and marriage, okay, I warn you about these things. I made it abundantly clear almost in every video, but for those of you that are already in one or that want to do it, that's your own business. Be aware there are signs out there that she's unhappy, so if you truly want to make your thing work, got to pay attention to these and nip it in the bud and deal with it before next thing you know, the real big signs are going on that she's actually having an affair and your heart's ripped out and all that shit. He goes on, I was aware that we had some things missing in our relationship, but I thought our other strengths outweighed the issues. I was wrong. Well, in this day and age, women want everything. A big laundry list of things they want perfect, and generally if things not everything on that checklist is checked off, there's going to be issues. I noticed some funny behavior over the last couple of months, but never put any of it together. That's why I always got to watch out, guys. As I see now that I was in denial of the fact that this person I trusted more than life itself could or would go outside our marriage. That's the problem in this day and age, guys. You got so many what they call blue pill guys out there that just refuse to see things anyway, what they have in their own worldview, their own paradigm, whatever it happens to be, and they get burned, and then they learn the hard way, and then their eyes open. Or at least some of them. Some of them go right back to their same old ways and can continue to be burned. But more and more guys are waking up. Both of us started getting healthier at the beginning of the year. Weight loss being the key. I have lost 115 pounds, her 60. It was making our lives better. That's awesome. That is phenomenal work. I mean, losing 115 pounds, I don't know how big this dude was, but obviously he was a very big guy and she was a big gal. And by the way, he's saying that she lost a bunch of weight too. I'm willing to bet you that before, she wasn't getting the attention and validation from men, but when she lost the weight and obviously was getting healthier, she started getting the attention and liked it. My attitude and outlook on life was getting more and more positive. Our sex life and intimacy was improving. And he said in parentheses, I had very low libido, being as heavy as I was. Yeah, that's common. I mean, you feel like shit, and if somebody's that overweight, they feel like crap, they're unattractive, but all of a sudden they start working hard, changing their diet, changing their lives around, getting in great shape, or at least losing a lot of weight, getting on that path, and all of a sudden you're feeling really good. That's why I urge you guys that always do things to take care of yourself physically. You're going to feel a hell of a lot better, and you're going to send that vibe out into the world. And for those of you that are watching this that are overweight or anything like that or unhealthy, start taking action. Little steps every day, and set a grand goal and then set little goals along the way. You're going to feel a lot better. Your life will get better, just like this dude. At least this guy's life got better on the how he was feeling about himself, but we saw what happened in regards to his wife. He goes on, my attitude and outlook on life was getting more and more positive. I read that part, my bad. It says here, in my mind, had committed to 2018 being the best year of our lives. But the last 10 years seemed to have already taken a toll on my wife, and she started looking outside our marriage. Not that I'm giving her any kind of letting her get away with it, but obviously she was very unhappy being overweight, and I'm willing to bet you, like I said before, she lost the weight, probably started getting attention from guys, and she just made her lose it, And obviously their marriage wasn't very good to begin with, but as I've said before, generally how marriages are in this day and age in the West. It's just, marriage is dead. Okay, the old-fashioned traditional marriage of grandpa and grandpa ain't happening anymore. I noticed that she was going out with the girls more often, ding, 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 doing more work, doing more after-work activities, and getting involved in her union. She was buying new clothes. I simply chalked it up to the weight loss and feeling better and wanting to go and have more fun, which I always encouraged, as I like to go out with the boys and work out of town occasionally. I never wanted her to feel like she was housebound with no social life. There's a balance, okay? It's good that both parties in the couple had their own friends, their own hobbies and interests, because if you're joined at the hip all the time, you're going to drive each other fucking crazy, okay? Got to have a life. But there's a point where if she's going out all the time with the female coworkers, and pay attention to those female coworkers, just happen to be single women or divorced women, that can have a major impact on her. And okay, if she's buying clothes because she lost a bunch of weight, sure, but if she's what kind of clothes is she buying? Okay, start to connect the dots here, because usually if there's an affair going on, what usually happens is, and it goes both ways, all of a sudden the person's out more often, all of a sudden they're guarding their phone like it's the Holy Grail, all of a sudden they're dressing a lot better, they're doing better things to make themselves more physically appealing, all these things. If they never did that before, but all of a sudden they're doing it, something's up. Red flags, pay attention. I noticed that her phone stopped showing her location on some of the nights as she went out. Once again, never thought anything of it. In fact, I felt guilty for even thinking that she'd be up to something. Finally, she told me last Friday in the afternoon that she was going to a girlfriend's to have drinks and would probably crash at her house. I told her that was a great idea. Have fun and make sure that she crashed there rather than driving home. See, this guy's trying to be a good husband here, right? Hey, have fun with your girls. I want you to be happy. Okay, you're going to go out and have drinks, fine, crash at her house. See what I'm talking about here? See how she's taking advantage of his kindness here? It's a shame. That night, I checked her phone location, wanted to see which friend she was staying out with, and without bothering her. Well, I noticed her location was off again. My heart sank. I switched from Find My iPhone to Find Friends app. I never used this app, didn't even think that we signed up for it. Well, we were. And it put her phone location at a hotel near the airport in our town. I couldn't take my eyes off it. It's a shame. The guy's trying to be a good husband, and look what she's doing, taking advantage of it. And by the way, I think it's crazy that people can actually track where somebody else in their phone plan is or whatever through these things. That's insane. I know they have it through iPhones. I have an Android. Maybe they have something equivalent to that for Android, but I don't care. I think that's kind of... It just bothers the hell out of me. I'm not in a relationship, but if I was, I sure as hell would not let somebody keep track of me. That's insane. Or this finding a friend app. I never heard of that until I read this thing here. Maybe some of you guys know about that thing. Scary. In the morning, I saw her location go through the drop-off loop at the airport. I still tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, and maybe her plans changed with the girls, and they went out for drinks instead of staying in. Maybe one of her girlfriends needed a ride to the airport. Who knows? Well, when she got home, I asked her how her night was. Did they have fun? Did she crash at her friend T's house or K's house? She said they drank and crashed at T's house, and it says in parentheses, 50 miles from the airport. I asked if T and K were planning vacation this week, and she said no, they were staying home. I wanted to blow my lid there and then. The kids were around. I decided to keep my mouth shut until that evening, as we had planned of being together that night. Instead, she fell asleep with our son, a regular occurrence. He likes to be cuddled to sleep. It made me mad. So this guy had every right in the world to just let her have it right then and there, but because he's a good dad and he doesn't want to make the kids uncomfortable and all that, he kept it he compartmentalized for the day. He's a good guy, good father, because the last thing you want is to see your kids hearing mom and dad fighting. My parents rarely fought when I was a kid, but when they did, believe me, it scared the shit out of my sister and I. We thought they were going to get divorced, and I'm talking when we were little kids, So this is a good guy trying to shield his kids from this. I could not get it out of my mind. I started snooping on everything, found a pair of panties that I had never seen in her purse, a bottle of KY in her bathroom bag. He says in parentheses, we never used it. And then I grabbed her phone from the nightstand in my son's room while she slept. My soul was crushed. I found texts, explicit, and snapshot conversations. She told him she loved him. All the secrets of the world are located on a person's phone. It's unbelievable. I found cell phone calls on our bills going back to October 31st, long 1 to 3 hour conversations. So many of them. I did not sleep a wink that night. In the morning, New Year's Eve, I waited until I could get in part of the house without the kids and asked her who else knew about her new man. She was shocked, but told me only her friend Kay knew. She had kept a secret from other friends and family. Women are always going to have at least one friend they're going to tell their little secrets to. Women can't keep secrets. Women are very diabolical and very good at hiding their things. They're way better at men than hiding the affairs and things like that and cheating, but they also got to gossip. They're going to always have at least one friend they're going to tell. I'm surprised here that she openly admitted it right then and there. She told me that he was a man that she had known through her union committees and that he was married also. She wouldn't tell me his name. I told her I was leaving for the day and was not sure when I'd be back. I drove to my office, picked up a bottle of whiskey, and proceeded to drink an entire bottle of Jack Daniels from the bottle, while I watched my Buffalo Bills earn their way into the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. What a bittersweet day. I don't blame this guy for feeling the way he did. I don't blame him for grabbing a bottle of JD and chugging it, but be careful, guys. If you ever get in a situation, that kind of heavy drinking, you never know what could happen. It's not worth doing that and what could happen from that over a woman. I was able to put enough pieces together from his social media names, not his real name, to figure out who he was and who his wife was, and get his wife's cell phone from a website that she was listed on. I immediately texted his wife. She was on vacation with him. My wife dropped him at the airport to meet her at their destination. This guy, this is good. He's texting the guy who's cheating with his wife's wife, and they're on vacation. Imagine that text coming in. Imagine that guy sitting there thinking he's the king. He's banging some other dude's wife, and meanwhile his wife is getting a text from the guy that, the husband of the girl she's cheating with, telling her what's going on. Imagine being the fly on the wall when that situation happened. She, the wife of the guy who's cheating with his wife, also confirmed that they had been unhappy for a while, but their vacation was to be a step in rebuilding their marriage. Yeah, not anymore. My wife sent me multiple texts while I was at my office. I turned off my location and blocked her from all social media and never responded. This prompted her to contact her entire family and tell them what happened, as she was unsure I was going to contact them first. I didn't. I didn't talk to anyone. I was ashamed, embarrassed, emasculated. Why would I tell anyone? Exactly. I feel bad for this guy. The guy feels like a complete ass. Now the whole family and friends all know, and he looks like he feels even worse. I waited until the morning. He says he slept on the couch at his office to make contact. I told her I was safe, and if she wanted to talk, to get someone to watch the kids and come to my office. Good for him. He's basically saying, hey, you're cheating on me, you can get your ass off the couch and you can come to me. I'm not coming to you, lady. She was hesitant, but came. I asked her all the questions we all want to know when this happens. Most importantly, who was she going to leave, me or him? Okay, see, I'm going to stop here. This goes to show where you can see, obviously, this guy, if you haven't figured it out already, this guy's very blue-pilled, and he's the classic beta male nice guy, and I'm not knocking him as a person. He's probably a very good guy and cool guy, but unfortunately very naive to women and their female in nature, and this is what happened to him. But the fact that he was asking her who is she going to leave, him or the lover, right then and there, any guy that has value and understands how things work would be like, hey, I don't care who you choose, bitch, you're out of here. Okay, it's over. And even if it's going to cost him an arm and a leg in the divorce and all that, you can't trust her again. No way, not after this. You know, I mean, the old saying, once a cheater, always a cheater, really is true. But he's having this conversation. He's asking her who she's going to leave. She said that she had cut him off and wanted to make things work with us. I hope that I can believe her. Dude, for this guy, you know, I mean, obviously he didn't write me. I'm reading this story that I found. She, right now in that moment, may feel like she's going to do what she can to make it work and all that. But the odds are she'll end up doing the same thing, because the odds are nothing's going to change. But regardless, after someone does that to you and puts you through all that embarrassment, and now the whole family knows and all the friends know, you know, that guy's always going to be he's always going to be walking around and gets together with friends and family and be wondering, are they thinking about that? Have they lost respect for him for that? And this guy's never going to be able to trust her again every time she goes out with her friends or whatever. Guarantee he's going to be thinking about it all the time. It's time to cut the losses and move on. We are trying to be our best selves around the kids, including staying in the same bed. She told me that she needs to work on herself and might not stay in our bed. I say, bitch, get out. She has given me access to her phone. She said that there had been one 5-minute phone call with the other man to confirm that they were done and both were going to try to make their marriages work. This morning I texted his wife again to see if what my wife was saying was true on their end. I have not received a reply from her. I haven't told my wife. I texted her again, not sure if I should, but I want to be 100% transparent and honest. This guy doesn't have to do anything to be transparent and honest after what she did to him, okay? If he wants to text the wife or the dude that was banging his wife, he can do it all he wants, okay? This guy at this point has a pass to do whatever he wants and feels necessary. Since then, I had read many posts on here and some other blog posts. I was pointing to the 180, which I've read a couple of times now. Man, I have acted the exact opposite of what the 180 tells us to do since D-Day. The 180, I quick looked up, is basically, I guess a philosophy or a set of ground rules or whatever the hell it is regarding to cheaters and dealing with them. And basically, you calling them on their bullshit, and you don't be the one who's begging and pleading for them to give you a second chance. Stuff like that. Basically, it tells you to act like a man and have self-respect and dignity, not being some butt-kissing on your knees little crybaby begging the cheater who's wronged you to come back to you. That's what it's doing. And obviously this guy knows all the stuff that this 180 thing, this 180 mindset or philosophy, whatever the hell it is, he knows he wasn't doing those things, which no doubt turned her off over the years. I'm not justifying her actions. I'm just saying what probably happened. This is why men always have to be seen as a prize, behave like a man, behave like an alpha. Otherwise, in time, the women may very likely step out or just leave. That's what brings me to this post and the questions that I have. First, I truly and he wrote that in capital letters, I truly want to save our marriage. Wrong. And she has told me the same. And he says in parentheses, yet I don't believe a word she says. Well, right there, that says if his gut's saying that he doesn't believe a word she says, trust your gut. Your gut is your truth. Your gut knows all. You got to go with that. And so even though he's hoping emotionally on one part of his emotions that will work out and all that, and in here, if his gut's saying, I don't trust this bitch any further than I can throw her fat ass, it's not worth it. And I don't want to hear the do it for the kids thing, because the kids are going to see you're unhappy. I'm simply going on faith right now. Well, the guy went on faith all along, and look what happened. She said that today she will find phone numbers for counselors/therapists for us, individual and then couples therapy. Well, good luck with that, because the odds are the couples therapists are going to try to make you guys get back together, and a lot of them, some do, but a lot of them don't really buy into what they refer to as red pill mindset, red pill philosophy, things like that. And they're going to want to try to get the marriage to work out, not really truly accepting female nature and female nature in this day and age, how things are in the West, especially with marriage in the West, because they want to be in business, these marriage counselors and family counselors, if basically people weren't getting married or getting back together. So unfortunately, you can't trust that. And I don't want to hear you about going to regardless of your religious faith, everybody's entitled to their religious faith, but a lot of people, marriage troubles, end up going to their pastor or minister or somebody to guide them. And once again, they're going to say, work it out, stay in the marriage, blah, blah, blah. So don't go with that either. Trust your gut. Guys, your gut is everything. He asked, for those of you who have reconciled, did you implement the 180? Did you do it the right way? It seems so hard. See, it's hard for him, again, back to the 180 thing, basically laying down the law, not begging and pleading and making them earn you back and all that stuff. It's hard for him because it's not his real nature, because he's obviously been a very nice guy his whole life, and what happens to nice guys? They get burned. The other thing that worries me about the 180 is that she knows me better than I know myself. It seems to me that she will see right through it and still know exactly how I feel. I am bad at lying, especially to her. In other words, him beginning to act like an alpha and have self-respect, he doesn't think she's going to buy it, because obviously his whole time with her, he acts like the typical nice guy. But all guys have it in them, okay? Deep down somewhere, we all have that alpha just dying to come out, but it's been suppressed by decades of feminism and things like that. But we all got it in us, guys. It's just a certain trigger, and it's a self-worth to make us be the real men that we are born to be. I also worry that the 180 will push her away. So many emotions. Good Lord, dude, come on. She cheated on you. She's having an affair. Lord knows what else was going on over the years and all that, and what will happen. And so he's worrying that him acting like an alpha will push her away. Him acting like an alpha, this 180 thing they're talking about, by him doing the opposite of that, acting like a beta and acting weak and acting like the typical nice guy, that's what turned her off in the first place, guaranteeing caused her to behave this way. She's only covering her ass now because she doesn't want to, she didn't think she'd get caught. That's what's going on. I guarantee you she'll do it again. It may take 5 years, 10 years, but it'll happen again. And the odds are this guy will go right back to being the same guy he was beforehand that turned her off. And you may think I'm picking on this guy, and I don't mean to be, but the odds are it's his behavior that was a portion of what turned her off. And of course, how I say, female nature, and things don't work with regards to marriage in this day and age, especially here in the West. Have others had positive experience with therapy, individual and couples? I really want to hear from people who have survived this and kept their marriages together, and more importantly, made their marriages better after this betrayal. So heartbroken right now. Thanks in advance. Well, again, I feel bad for this guy, what happened to him, and I can certainly empathize about getting your heart broken. Believe me, I've been in relationships when I was younger. I've had heartache back way long time ago. I know what it's like. It fucking sucks. You feel like somebody took a baseball bat to your stomach. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't trust this woman any further than I could throw her. And again, back to the couples therapy and going to all that, it's their job to make the marriages work better. It's their job to convince the couple to try it again, even though that there's these big flashing lights saying it ain't going to work and it's not going to work with her. And he said his gut doesn't believe her. So who knows what's going to happen to this guy. I will follow up with all this, but the odds are it's not going to work one way or another. And if he tries to get back in the relationship and he doesn't do a complete 180 like that thing talks about in terms of how he shows up as a man and behaves and acts towards her and lays down the law with her, which he obviously has to do, same thing's going to happen again. So I did this, guys, just to show you again another scenario while showing you how things are in this day and age with marriage, female nature, and the signs to look out for if something's going on, okay? And why you always got to act like a man, you always got to be strong, you got to have these alpha traits, otherwise you're going to be perceived as weak, perceived as a nice guy, and things like this can happen. It's unfortunate, but this happens all the time. I've done plenty of stories on this. I get plenty of emails from guys all over the world telling me about their experiences and situations. I don't always do these in videos because I can't possibly do videos for all the emails I get and the stories I hear, but I pick certain ones. And it's very common. It really is a shitty world with regards to this, but I'm just telling the truth, letting you guys know so you guys don't make the same mistakes a lot of people do, and saving a lot of heartache and frustration. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.